The kitchen smells like cinnamon and roasted turkey, the warmth of the oven wrapping around me like a familiar hug. Sunlight pours through the bay window, painting golden streaks across the wooden floor. I hum a soft tune, careful not to wake little Emma, who's sitting at the island, her tiny hands playing with the autumn-colored napkins I had painstakingly folded. She looks up at me with wide, innocent eyes, and I smile, brushing a stray lock of her blonde hair behind her ear. I move from counter to counter, adjusting the centerpiece of pumpkins and candles, making sure each fork and knife is aligned perfectly. I had spent hours planning this Thanksgiving, the pies, the stuffing, the homemade cranberry sauce. I even baked Emma's favorite pumpkin bread this morning, hoping the sweet aroma would blend with the laughter I imagined filling the room. But already, a tiny knot of unease tightens in my stomach. My phone buzzes again, another unanswered text from my older brother, Mason. Are we still on for lunch? The timestamp shows he sent it 2 hours ago. I glance at the driveway. Empty. No familiar car in sight. I try to shake it off, telling myself they're just running late. After all, the turkey needs 20 more minutes in the oven, and the pies should cool before serving. I pour Emma a glass of apple juice and watch as she giggles, shaking the glass and spilling a little on the counter. Her laughter is light and free, and for a moment, I forget the creeping anxiety that tightens around my chest. I double-check the table one last time. The cranberry sauce is glossy, the bread golden, and the stuffing smells like home. Every detail is a little message. I love you, I care, I've tried my best. I glance at my phone again. Another unanswered text from Mason, a call that went straight to voicemail for my sister, Olivia. My fingers brush against the screen, hesitant, almost afraid to send another message. We're here. Are you ready? No reply. Emma climbs onto a chair beside me and whispers, Mommy, are they coming? Her words slice through the comforting hum of the kitchen. I force a smile and ruffle her hair. Soon, sweetie. Soon. But inside, doubt prickles at my thoughts. I remember last year, how the table felt empty too, how promises were broken gently, and how I brushed it off with laughter, telling myself, next year will be better. I check the clock again. 30 minutes past the time they said they'd arrive. The smell of roasted turkey is intoxicating, but my stomach twists with worry. I pace lightly, arranging chairs, pulling at tablecloth corners, trying to ignore the quiet sound of the wind outside, which somehow seems louder than usual. The oven timer dings, and I pull out the turkey, its skin crisp and golden. I place it at the center of the table like a crown, a symbol of the love and effort I've poured into this day. Then my phone vibrates again. A message from Mason. My thumb hovers over the screen. Can't make it. Something came up. We'll see you next time. My chest tightens, a cold weight settling over me. Emma frowns, sensing my sudden stillness. I kneel beside her and take her hand. It's okay, baby. We'll still have our Thanksgiving, just you and me. But my voice wavers, betraying the sting of emptiness. I stare at the empty chairs, the half-set table, and the crisp autumn light streaming in. The hope I had carried all morning flickers and dims. The warmth of the kitchen suddenly feels heavy, like a room holding its breath. Emma's small hand squeezes mine, grounding me in the moment. I take a deep breath, trying to gather strength. Thanksgiving had always been about family, love, and togetherness, but today, that togetherness feels fragile, almost out of reach. I glance at the table one last time before quietly stepping back. The oven hums, the pies gleam, and the turkey waits like a sentinel. But the empty seats, the silence, the unanswered calls, they speak louder than the laughter I had hoped to hear. The day I had imagined is slipping through my fingers, and the first crack in my perfect Thanksgiving has already appeared. The morning sun has faded into a gray, chilly afternoon. The warmth from the oven no longer feels comforting. It's just heat, unmoved by the silence around me. I hear Emma playing quietly with her doll on the floor, pretending it's having its own Thanksgiving feast. Her small, determined voice narrates a story I barely hear, and yet, it makes the empty room feel less hollow. I try calling Mason again, leaving a cheerful voicemail. Hi, just checking in. The turkey smells amazing. Hope to see you soon. No response. Olivia texts later. Sorry, can't make it. Family stuff. I reread her message 3 times, hoping my eyes will find an unspoken apology, some hint that they care. Nothing. I set the table anyway, my movements automatic. Silverware lined up, napkins folded, glasses polished until they gleam. I arrange Emma's favorite placemat, the one with pumpkins and turkeys. She watches silently, her little brow furrowed. Mommy, why aren't they coming? Her words are soft, hesitant, but they pierce me like tiny arrows. I force a smile, hiding the growing sting behind a laugh I don't feel. Just then my neighbor, Mrs. Reynolds, knocks softly. She's holding a small basket filled with homemade cookies and a note. Thought you might need a little company today, she says, her voice gentle. I feel a flicker of gratitude, but also an ache. Why do I need others' kindness to fill the absence of my own family? I try to distract myself by checking the food. The stuffing is warm, the pie's golden, and the cranberry sauce glistening. But the turkey is cold to the touch. Not because it's not cooked right, but because no one is here to share it. I imagine Mason and Olivia laughing, passing plates, their voices filling the room. Instead, I have Emma's small, quiet presence and Mrs. Reynolds' soft hum in the background. A message pops up on my phone from Mason. You're overreacting. It's just one Thanksgiving. My hands shake slightly. I stare at the words, feeling the weight of dismissal and manipulation. One simple message erases all my effort, all my anticipation. I grip my phone tightly, heart pounding, and look down at Emma. She's picking at her bread, her tiny shoulders slumped. I wanted them to see my drawing, she whispers. My chest tightens further. I feel a wave of tears rising, but I brush them away, hiding them behind my hand as I smile at Emma. It's okay, baby. We'll make our own fun. I try to sound cheerful, but even my voice betrays a quiver. I set the plates with careful precision, pretending nothing has changed. I pour juice into Emma's glass, but it trembles slightly in my hand. The edges of the table, the glint of the silverware, even the smell of the turkey, all of it feels muted, distant. I gather the documents from my desk, scanning the statement again and again. The numbers are clear. A miscommunication, a missed deadline, perhaps someone's oversight, but the weight of the demand feels personal. Every dollar counted, every late notice feels like a judgment, a punishment for the past years of taking care, for trusting the people who never showed up when it mattered. Then another message arrives from Mason. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Why are you so dramatic? The words sting sharply. It's not just dismissal anymore. It's an active attempt to manipulate, to gaslight. The tiny thread of hope I had held onto, that they might finally show some recognition or care, snaps completely. I step back from the counter, taking a deep breath. My body reacts with a strange clarity, chest tight, hands shaking, mind racing. The realization hits me in waves. The family I hoped would be there for me, the ones who are supposed to protect and love, are incapable of change. They are consistent only in absence, in neglect, in subtle, persistent emotional harm. The weight of it, the betrayal, the financial pressure, the loneliness, ignites a spark deep within me. I know now, with a certainty that cannot be ignored, I cannot wait for their apologies. I cannot rely on their good intentions. I cannot let their absence or manipulation dictate my life. Something has to change. I walk through the living room, hands trailing along the edges of furniture, feeling the space around me differently now. The walls, once confining in their silent judgment, now seem to whisper opportunity. This is the moment, the trigger, the last straw, that forces me to see the truth and recognize that the life I have allowed others to shape will no longer control me. And in that realization, I feel a shift, subtle but powerful. The anger simmers quietly beneath the surface, resolute and patient. It's not reckless fury, it's clarity, purpose. Today is no longer a day for disappointment. It's the day I start claiming what has always been mine: peace, dignity, and control over my own life. The day after the bank call, I wake up with a quiet determination that feels foreign and exhilarating. The kitchen, once heavy with disappointment, now seems lighter, almost expectant. I brew a fresh pot of coffee, the aroma grounding me, and glance at the stack of bills I've been meticulously tracking. This time, I'm not just tracking numbers, I'm tracking freedom. I start small. The credit card Mason and Olivia have been using without consideration? I cancel it. A single phone call, firm yet polite, and the card is deactivated. I watch the confirmation number blink on my screen and feel a surge of control. It's a tiny act, but to me, it feels monumental. Every dollar they can no longer exploit is a victory. Every boundary I enforce is a reminder that I am the keeper of my own life. Emma joins me at the table, coloring in her Thanksgiving coloring book. Her smile is radiant, untouched by the storm outside our walls. I pour her apple juice, careful not to spill this time, and we sit together quietly, the sun slanting through the window like a spotlight on our small sanctuary. Even in the absence of family, I feel the stirrings of joy, the kind that comes from self-respect and clarity. Next, I take a more symbolic step. I send Mason a single dollar, not out of spite, but as a declaration. I will no longer be your bank, your emotional dumping ground, your invisible servant. The message attached is simple. This is all I can offer. I am no longer responsible for your choices. I hit send and watch the little dollar fade from my account. The act is almost ritualistic, a cleansing of years of one-sided giving. I move through the house with deliberate purpose, locking the doors that had always felt flimsy against their intrusion, closing windows that let in cold reminders of past manipulation. Every click of a lock, every secure latch, feels like a stitch mending the invisible rips in my heart. I glance at the kitchen, at the table where pies and turkey still gleam, and feel a sense of quiet triumph. This space is mine to protect now. Dinner that night is simple, yet perfect. Emma and I sit across from each other, plates filled with the dishes we love. We laugh when a stray doll falls from the chair, when she recounts a funny moment from school. The warmth between us is untainted, pure. For the first time in years, I feel the absence of family not as a wound, but as a space where something better can grow. Resilience, independence, love unburdened by expectation. I even take a moment to look outside. The sunlight has softened into a late afternoon glow, and the wind carries the faint scent of autumn leaves. There's freedom in the simplicity of this life. Freedom from obligation, from manipulation, from the constant balancing of emotional debt. I realize that my rebellion doesn't have to be loud or confrontational. It can be quiet, deliberate, dignified. The act of saying no is enough. Before bed, I write a small note for Emma. We are enough. Always. No one can take that from us. I tuck it under her plate, a small ritual to cement the day's victory. She hugs me tightly, whispering, "I love you, Mommy." And for the first time in a long while, I smile without reservation. The rebellion is not chaos, it's clarity. It's reclaiming life, one deliberate action at a time. As the house grows quiet that night, I sit by the window, hands wrapped around a warm mug of tea, watching the sky darken. I know Mason and Olivia may call, may complain, may try to guilt me back into old habits, but this time, I am unshakable. The spark of rebellion has grown into a steady flame. It's calm, dignified, and resolute. And in that flame, I find a taste of the freedom. I hadn't expected the storm to arrive so soon, but that evening, the sound of my front door rattling jolts me from my calm. I freeze, Emma by my side, wide-eyed and clutching her doll. Footsteps pound on the porch, and a familiar voice shouts my name, Mason. Olivia's laughter, sharp and unbothered, echoes behind him. I take a deep breath, grounding myself. The door shakes again. "Emily, open up," Mason yells. "You can't just ignore us." The words are full of anger, disbelief, and entitlement. My hands are steady as I walk to the door, my mind clear. I peek through the peephole. There they are, two grown adults, storming into the threshold of my home as though they own it. Emma clings to my leg, whispering, "Mommy, are they mad at us?" I kneel down, meeting her eyes. "They're mad at me, baby. But that's okay. We'll be fine." The storm outside may be loud, but inside, a quiet calm anchors me. I open the door a crack. Mason pushes it slightly, trying to force his way in. "We just want to talk," he shouts. Olivia smirks, holding her phone like evidence, ready to document my supposed outrage. The sight of them, the entitlement, the aggression, stirs a deep, familiar anger. But this time, it doesn't overwhelm me. Instead, I feel the weight of years of preparation, of boundaries I've been too timid to enforce, finally manifesting into firm resolve. I step back, holding the door firmly. "You're not coming in," I say, my voice calm but unyielding. "I've set boundaries, and you will respect them." Mason scoffs, yelling, "We're your family. You can't treat us like this." I shake my head, steady. "You've never respected me before. This stops now." The confrontation escalates, shouting, door pounding, the occasional slam of a fist on the frame, but I remain composed. I call the local officer, explaining the situation with quiet precision. Within minutes, a uniformed officer arrives, confirming that I have every right to protect my home and enforce my boundaries. Mason and Olivia glance at the officer, disbelief flashing across their faces, realizing that the world outside my home recognizes what they have refused to see for years: my autonomy. Emma watches silently, her small hand clutching mine. She whispers, "Mommy, why do they yell?" I squeeze her hand gently. "Because they don't understand yet. But that's okay, we know the truth. Their storm cannot penetrate the calm we have built inside these walls." Finally, Mason throws up his hands in frustration. Olivia mutters, "You'll regret this, Emily." I don't respond. I simply close the door, double-locking it, and breathe deeply. The echoes of their anger fade, replaced by the quiet hum of the house, the soft creak of the floorboards beneath my feet. In that silence, I recognize a moral victory. I didn't shout, I didn't escalate, I didn't retaliate. I enforced boundaries. I protected my home, my child, and myself. The chaos outside contrasts sharply with the calm inside, and for the first time, I see the stark difference between control and fear, love and manipulation. Later, Emma curls up beside me on the couch, her head resting against my shoulder. "We're safe, Mommy," she murmurs. I stroke her hair, feeling a warmth that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with us. The confrontation may have been loud and messy, but it has proven something vital. I am the steward of my own life, and no one, even those who claim to be family, can take that away from me. The evening air cools as the sun sets, the storm outside finally dissipating. The quiet inside is profound, almost sacred. And in that sacred silence, I realize strength doesn't roar, it stands firm. The morning after the confrontation is quiet, almost serene. The chaos of yesterday lingers in memory, but inside the walls of my home, a sense of peace settles in. I brew coffee and glance out the window, the autumn sunlight spilling over the lawn, and for the first time in years, I feel unhurried, unpressured, unburdened by manipulation. A soft knock at the door interrupts my thoughts. I open it to find Mrs. Reynolds, my neighbor, holding a basket of freshly baked banana bread. "Thought you might like a little breakfast," she says, her smile warm and genuine. Behind her, a few other neighbors have gathered, holding small gifts, gift cards, jars of preserves, a handmade scarf. The gesture is simple, yet it carries a weight far heavier than anything Mason or Olivia ever offered. Kindness without expectation, generosity without strings. Emma rushes to greet them, her laughter brightening the morning. I watch her, my heart swelling with gratitude. It's in this moment I realize something crucial. Family isn't only defined by blood. Real family shows up, not just in presence, but in care, respect, and quiet support. I spend the morning sharing stories with my neighbors, preparing a small communal brunch. Every smile, every nod of appreciation, Every warm bite of food reinforces the feeling of belonging I had been starved of for so long. The house, once heavy with absence and disappointment, now feels spacious, open, alive. The weight of obligation lifts with every kind gesture. As I organize my finances, I notice something remarkable. The careful tracking, the new boundaries, the clarity brought on by the rebellion, all of it reveals a surplus I hadn't realized existed. The bank issues resolved, the bills accounted for, and the credit card secured. For the first time, I see my own efforts reflected clearly, without the distortion of manipulation or dismissal. It's practical healing, tangible proof that I am capable, resilient, and in control. Emma sits beside me, showing me a drawing she made, a small house surrounded by trees, sunlight pouring over it. "This is our home, Mommy," she says, eyes bright. I take her hand, tracing the lines on the paper, and feel a sense of lightness that had eluded me for years. Our home is more than bricks and furniture. It is safety, love, and boundaries respected. A call from a coworker follows, offering to drop by with a simple casserole. A teacher from Emma's school sends a note with a gift card for the school bookstore, and another friend leaves a thoughtful message. "I'm proud of you. You're doing the right thing." These small acts of care, unprompted and unconditional, fill the gaps that family left behind. By evening, I sit with Emma at the table, enjoying a quiet dinner together. The smells of roasted vegetables and fresh bread mingle in the air. I take a deep breath, savoring the calm that surrounds us. I glance around the house, noticing the subtle ways life has shifted. The rooms feel larger, lighter, warmer. This is healing, the quiet, persistent, genuine kind that cannot be bought or demanded, only received with openness. Finally, I jot a note in my journal, the words flowing freely. For years, I believed love required sacrifice at my own expense. Today, I see it differently. Love is not absence or manipulation. Love shows up. Love supports without expectation. Love is here. I close the journal and place it on the counter, next to the window where sunlight streams in. For once, the house feels bigger. The weeks that follow are filled with small, deliberate routines that rebuild not just our home, but our lives. Mornings begin slowly now, with Emma and me sharing breakfast at the sunlit kitchen table. I've started painting again, a hobby I abandoned years ago, and the walls of our living room now carry soft hues of blues and yellows, a reflection of the peace I've cultivated within. Budgeting has become empowering, not stressful. I track expenses, savings, and small luxuries I allow myself and Emma. Each number reminds me that I am capable of managing life on my own terms, without the constant interference of those who take, without giving. The sense of control fills me with quiet confidence. Emma flourishes in this new rhythm. At school, she's more confident, raising her hand without hesitation and sharing her thoughts with pride. I watch her at the playground, the sunlight catching her hair, and feel a sense of satisfaction that is deeper than any approval Mason or Olivia ever offered. This growth is tangible, earned, and heartfelt, our reward for standing firm. Occasionally, Mason or Olivia attempt to reconnect. A message here, a call there, each coded with feigned concern. I respond kindly but firmly, establishing clear boundaries. "I appreciate your message, but our lives are moving forward. Please respect our space." My voice no longer carries the tremor of fear or guilt. I realize that saying no doesn't end love, it preserves it on my terms. Evenings are quiet but full. I cook meals that we love, sometimes experimenting with new recipes. Emma helps, measuring ingredients and stirring gently, her small hands steady. We laugh at minor mishaps, savor the warmth of simple joy, and remind each other that life is full even without those who choose not to show up. New connections emerge too. I've met a coworker, Claire, who shares our love for art and literature. Our conversations are effortless, filled with laughter, insight, and mutual support. She stops by occasionally with fresh flowers or a small dinner, adding another layer of genuine friendship to our lives. For the first time, I feel that community and chosen family can be just as meaningful, if not more, than the blood ties that once constrained me. Symbolic acts of renewal mark our progress. The garden outside blooms with flowers planted by Emma and me, a reminder that care and patience yield beauty. A family photo now hangs on the wall, capturing just the two of us, smiling freely, no pretense, no tension. Each brushstroke, each flower, each careful word reinforces the life we've built, grounded in autonomy and love. As night falls, I sit by the window, Emma asleep beside me, and reflect on how far we've come. The absence of toxic influence has created space for growth, joy, and freedom. Our home is no longer just a structure. It is a sanctuary, a canvas for a life we design intentionally. And in that quiet, I realize that rebuilding is not about erasing the past, but about creating a future where love, respect, and boundaries coexist peacefully. A year has passed since that tumultuous Thanksgiving, and the change in our lives is palpable. The house feels alive with warmth, not obligation. Sunlight spills across the kitchen where Emma and I prepare breakfast, laughter flowing easily as we share stories of school and plans for the weekend. There's no tension here, no weight pressing down from the past, just freedom. We've established new traditions, simple yet meaningful. This Thanksgiving, we host a small gathering for neighbors and friends who have become our chosen family. Pies line the table, golden and fragrant. The turkey roasts quietly in the oven. Emma sets the table with care, her confidence shining through in every action. This year, there is no fear of absence, no worry about empty chairs. Every person present is here out of love, and their presence fills the room with genuine warmth. Occasionally, a distant message from Mason or Olivia appears, an attempt at reconciliation or a casual holiday greeting. I read it calmly, then set it aside. Boundaries remain firm. I am no longer shaped by their whims or their manipulations. I am shaped by my own choices, my own care, and the love I cultivate with those who truly value it. Looking back, I understand now that real family is not defined by blood alone, nor by tradition or expectation. It is defined by respect, support, and the ability to show up without diminishing another. I've learned that standing firm, even in the face of confrontation, is not cruelty, it is courage. Protecting our hearts and home does not close doors, it opens them to the right people, the ones who nurture, uplift, and honor our presence. I take a moment to write in my journal, reflecting on the journey from hope to heartbreak, from rebellion to peace. We have learned that love without boundaries is hollow. We have found strength in saying no. We have built a life rich with care, respect, and freedom. The words flow easily now, a testament to the clarity I fought so hard to claim. Emma sits beside me, gently drawing flowers and leaves for our Thanksgiving centerpiece. I watch her, her small hand confident and sure. She looks up and smiles. "Mommy, this is the best Thanksgiving ever." And I know she means it, because this time, the love in the room is real, earned, and freely given. The sun sets, casting a golden glow across the house. I close the journal, setting it on the counter beside the window. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past finally lift. Boundaries have created safety. Choices have created joy. And love, real love, has flourished in the space we've claimed for ourselves. The day fades quietly, peacefully, and as Emma drifts off to sleep, I glance around our home, full of warmth, light, and laughter. For the first time in a long time, I feel complete. I close my eyes for a moment, letting the silence settle over us, and whisper a single word that encompasses everything we've gained.